Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Fingered Cat, here with Christmas in July Day 5. I am so behind on doing these videos, so fingers crossed we can get there and we'll do this whole of this month with a video every day. I'm filming this on what has been the hottest day on record in June in the UK. To say I'm melting is an understatement. I'm also full of hay fever, so apologies if you heard me sniffing. I don't even know if I'll film the voiceover tonight or not. I don't know. But yeah, it's a bit warm. I don't cope well with this kind of warmth. I've just been stood in the bath with an inch of cold water at the bottom to just try and bring some temperature down to my body, which worked temporarily. I walked back in this room and went, oh, it's so hot. Wouldn't do this if I wasn't panicking. Anyway, I thought I'd film a Christmas video. Ironically, today's Frosty the Snowman. Today does not feel like a Frosty the Snowman day. Remember those Mr. Frosty machines? You could never actually get to work where it was meant to crush the ice. Yeah, I insisted on having one. Don't think it ever got used because we could never work out how to get the ice to actually crush without breaking it. But anyway, digressed. Frosty the Snowman. So let's go for Snowman themed cards. I am going to attempt to use this stencil again. Used it last year, struggled with it, going to try it again. If it doesn't work out, you know what's happened. It didn't work again. Well, let's learn together. So, all that being said, please subscribe to see future videos. Please like, leave me any comments below as to what you think of my Frosty the Snowman card as I make it. Right, let's go in. Right, future Catherine here doing some voiceover. Apologies if you can hear traffic outside at various points. I've got the windows wide open. It is now the following day. Oh look, we've got beeps and all sorts now going on. But yeah, it's the following day and I have now just finished the card because I did need to leave things to dry overnight. So it was made in stages and at some point it disappears off the screen and when we come back it'll all be dry. So what did I do? Well, I stuck it in the stamp wheel to be able to stick the stencil to the left hand side of kind of the stamp wheel, and I have cut a panel that is just slightly smaller, teensy bit smaller than the 6x6 size. And you can see I am doing an incredibly light coverage of kind of grey. It's a smoky slate Stampin' Up ink, and I've just done a really light coverage of the grey for the bodies. Now I'm going in with different colours of pinks and purples for the hats and the scarves because I had already chosen out some purple cardstock that you can see off to the left in order to do something with, and I had already chosen the sentiment that was already made, again pinks and purple colours. So that was the reason for the colour choice because I had already grabbed these as I did my prep. And you can see there I just moved the ink all the way across to make sure. So yeah, we don't normally have purple carrot noses, we normally have orange carrot noses, but we went with just whatever colour I was actually doing. It's kind of fine, it's only a tiny bit of colour and I figured nobody would really care that they weren't carrot noses. Now, it is a bit tricky, this one. I did keep having these stencil slips, so there are a few places where there's just a little bit of stencil coverage that's not quite as good as it should be. But I'm using black soot here in order to add in all of the twig arms, the eyes and the stones or the coal that you would have for his buttons. Now I've gone back to my original stencil, which is the bodies, which is the bit of snow, and I decided instead of doing what am I going to say? Instead of doing it on the stamp wheel, because I didn't want to have to clean this gel stuff off the stamp wheel just in case I didn't do a good job. Didn't want to ruin that expensive bit of equipment. So instead I've done it directly onto my glass surface. But I did use a couple of just glue dots in order to glue the stencil in place. Now the medium I am spreading over is glass bead texture gel. So it is what it says on the tin. There is a gel which is clear, and then in the gel are these tiny little glass beads. And I've given it quite a chunky texture. as you can see there. It does dry back slightly because as the gel dries, it sort of dries back, but it holds those little balls in place. And then I basically went off and did a load of cleaning up, sorting it out, and left the panel to dry. I think I did do a bit of a close-up of it before I took it off my desk. It's really important when you're using mediums like gloss gels, etc., that you go and clean up immediately. So we've gone back into normal time rather than speed it up. This is it as it is done just after I have stenciled. So you can see it's quite opaque, and then here we go. This is it all dry. You'll see close-ups on the photographs at the end. I thought I was going to have to trim this down further because of that slight slippage with the stencil. Turns out didn't, and so I just decided, as it was textural and fun, I'd just keep it as a full panel as the front of the card. I trimmed it down just a teensy bit so that you could see some more of that purple sticking through. Frugal Catherine would have gutted that cardstock because there is so little of it showing, and it's quite a large panel because it's just under 6 inches. But Catherine in Heatwave did not even think about it. And this is me remembering I got those 2 glue dots, which fortunately just rubbed off the thing so that was not a problem. And here we go with my little sentiment. So I've grabbed myself a 6x6 card blank. I am just going to adhere it flat down. I don't do anything to the inside of this card, I must admit, because I just didn't want to go and get those stencils all dirty again. Again, I should have done it all at the same time. I should have cut myself a panel to go down the inside or something. But I didn't. I did not at all. So I'm laying my sentiment onto some foam adhesive. I'm popping a little bit of wet glue just so I've got a bit of wriggle room, just so that the sentiments rise above the actual panel. And here we go. Job's a good one. Dead quick card, really, but obviously it takes the drying time and it is messy. Probably not one you would want to make massive numbers of multiples. And I think you can really see some of the texture there with those bobbly little balls. I think it's so cute, such a good idea, and the best way I've used this stencil so far. I hope you agree. So all that's left to be said is thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe. Until next time, bye.